Who's ready to get back to some storm-chasing business where you don't face your fears, you ride them? We got twins! Twins! Twisters was directed by Lee Isaac Chung, who did Minari, and I need to check that out because I actually heard some very good things about that. Check out his IMDb page for the full list of his work. This is written by Mark L. Smith. It sounds like a name way too snooty to be writing a movie like Twisters, but let's talk about what else he wrote. Overlord. Okay, The Hole. The Revenant wasn't necessarily known for his story, more about what Leonardo DiCaprio put his mind, body, and soul through. Vacancy. That was a movie. Boys in the Boat. Didn't watch that. Actually, I had a chance to and decided to leave. So let's talk about the story. The story was written by Joseph Kosinski, who directed Top Gun Maverick. Oh boy, the director of Top Gun Maverick is involved in this, and that legacy sequel, reboot, whatever, certainly shocked me. So let's check this out. He also did Spiderhead, unfortunately. He also did Oblivion. He also did Tron Legacy. Okay, so 1 out of 4 ain't bad. Alright, let's talk about the fact that this is basically an update slash reboot slash soft reboot or invasive reboot where they just ram the boot right up the goddamn backside of the 1996 original named, wait for it, sit down, won't believe it, Twister. They had the late great Bill Paxton, and he was actually trying to get a sequel off the goddamn ground. James Cameron could have been involved, Helen Hunt would have returned, and Philip Seymour Hoffman wouldn't have been able to return, unfortunately. But various other characters may have, who knows. But unfortunately, Bill Paxton away. I'm sorry. May he rest in peace. I have to make some bad jokes. Let's talk about who's in this one. So you have Glenn Powell, and apparently he's going to just be in every goddamn movie. By the time we get to 2030, from Top Gun Maverick to like 2030, he's going to be in like 200 movies. It's astonishing. The man's keeping himself busy. I really can't fault him for that. Just wish the Hitman would have been a little better. But we do also have Daisy Edgar Jones, who was in Where the Crawdads Sing. It's another one I need to check out. She plays Kate. And Kate ends up basically, in the very beginning of this particular movie, she is storm chasing, and then doesn't go all that well, shall we say. And then 5 years later, she is going to get back in the saddle again, along with her friend Javi, played by Anthony Ramos, who's terrific, by the way. Magnificent and In the Heights. Been great in a lot of stuff. He's really, really good. Along with an assorted cast of characters for a new company called Stormpar, where they just decide to golf into the storm. That would have actually been hilarious if they included golf in the movie Into the Storm. Have you seen Into the Storm? Let me know. And then we see various other characters. So basically we have Stormpar, that's headed by Javi, with a lot of funding. He was in the military in the interim 5 years. And basically now he's got all this technology to really study tornadoes. And it's a good thing too, because they're involved in a once-in-a-generation tornado outbreak, where it's coming for everyone they love. It's not how weather works, folks. It's not how weather works. It's like Jaws the Revenge, where the shark is going to target somebody personally. Well, maybe animals can, but whatever, it's fine. It's fine. It's just supposed to not be taken seriously. Twisters kind of takes itself a little bit too seriously, but more on that in a bit. The rest of the cast does include Brandon Perea, who's actually not bad. Maura Tierney, who is wasted in this, I do want to say. She's a terrific actress. Harry Hayden Patton. And then you also have Sasha Lane, who was in How to Blow Up a Pipeline. I have to say, not only was she very good in that, not only is she, somebody I need to check out more of her work, she looks great. She kind of reminds me a little bit of Lisa Bonet, but in all seriousness, I like her. Magnificent, great charisma, physical charisma, and just good timing as far as, having some nice little biting wit. There's even some nice little biting wit in How to Blow Up a Pipeline. Pipelines blow up in this movie, too, if you've seen the trailer. Also, Kiernan Shipka, who you've seen her and stuff, folks. If you know, you know. And Katie O'Brien, who was most recently in Love, Lies, Bleeding, which is one of my favorite movies of the year. So, yes, we get storm chasing, we get bigger storms happening, and various things blow up. And various things get wrecked, as the kids say. And people are put in danger. At least that was the implication with the movie, because we're just going to put more people in CGI storms and everything, and we're just going to cover the fact that this movie has no fucking characters at all. It has a great cast. It has the look of a disaster movie. It wants to try to be one. It's wearing the skin as one, like a Buffalo Bill skin suit. But this is one of the worst goddamn, like blandest reboots that I have seen in a while. I had no goddamn idea what they were thinking putting this on screen. $200 million for this. $200 million goddamn dollars for this. Which actually would just be about $15 million more than the 1996 original if you adjust the budget for today's dollars. That had a $92 million budget, which would be $184.2 million in today's money. I did retro review the first one sometime last August, and did actually rewatch it in the last couple weeks just to give it a shot. And I hold no massive affection for the original, even though I did love it as a kid and still do like it as an adult, because it came out when I was 15. The cast, though, has chemistry. It has a breezy feel to it. Jan de Bont is a talented director. Lee Isaac Chung is a talented director. He just isn't given anything to do except being told by the studio, guided practically like he's being prodded along with a goddamn shock stick. Make this movie this way. Make this movie this way. Make the storms bigger. Don't make any of the characters interesting. Don't actually up the element of danger. Nobody is put in danger at any point in this. Everybody just puts himself in monumentally dumber situations with monumentally dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber decisions, which, yes, is Disaster Movie 101, but Jesus fucking Christ, this one is lazy. This is really lazy. Anytime to add layers to Kate's character, or, like Tyler's character, the whole, tension of the first one was the fact you had this smart, super smart tech crew headed by Carrie Ells or Ewells or however the hell you say his goddamn name. As you wish. That guy, just in case you don't recognize his name. And then you have Bill Paxton going along with Helen Hunt for 1 week and everything, and they practically just do or 1 day or whatever the fuck it was in the first one. It's been a bit since I've watched it. There's a bunch of movies in my goddamn head, but he's going to give him a short amount of time, and then he sticks around and everything, and there's all this stuff, and all these things are going on with these particular characters, except nothing's actually going on. Yes, the technology is updated. Sasha Lane does actually have some good lines, and Danny, Katie O'Brien's character, looks great, could have offered a whole lot more to this, and just everything about it, even the storms hit, like, okay, that's it, let's move on. Oh, we're going to have one over here. Oh, we're going to have one at a rodeo. Oh, we're going to just get... And this isn't necessarily spoiling, because if you've seen any of the trailers, you know. And yes, you can have an updated reboot sequel. I just talked about Top Gun Maverick. There are others that have been good. Maybe not as good, except Top Gun Maverick, to me, exceeded what Top Gun originally did. But you still could have made this movie, somewhat good, or at least decent, or palatable. And it wasn't. It was as bland as milk toast. It wasn't even like Wonder Bread. It was like we just left bread out and said, okay, it's kind of not molten. It's stale, just in the middle. So eat around that part, and oh, you don't like the stuff around there? Well, you're not going to like what's in the middle of this. What's in the middle of this is all the energy and enthusiasm and passion from the first one that admittedly had a lot of its flaws. The writing at times was a little bit and it defied every law of physics known to man. Like, okay, yeah, that's going to save people. Just attach yourself to a pipe, it's fine. It's a force of nature, it's going to carry you up. But nope, it's fine. This one, yes, there's technological updates, however the fuck you want to say it. And there are things that, yes, you could survive if you hold on to something and you do this. And you make sure that you get out of the way of a fucking goddamn tornado. Why would anyone want to live in Oklahoma, by the way? Because that just seems like the worst goddamn place to live for tornadoes. I mean, nothing against Oklahoma, by the way. I mean, they were the home of some great Mid-South wrestling shows. But Jesus Christ, it's like, and people are getting flattened. We get a little bit of stuff with disaster relief. But then we got to move on from that. The character arcs just are singular focus, with no deviations. And then when you try to have anybody just push back and say, no, my character's going to do this, the movie pulls them back and says, no, you're going to stay on this straight line because we got to make some goddamn money because we put a lot of cheddar into this. So yeah, Twisters just ends up missing the whole goddamn mark. It's barely a slight breeze, despite the fact we're supposed to have, some of these tornadoes with 200-mile-per-hour winds. It's in theaters if you want to check it out, but I'm going to get into spoilers like they fucking matter. But anyway, 3, 2, 1, didn't like this movie at all, spoilers. So, yeah, if you're a Karen and Shipka fan, enjoy her in the first few minutes, folks, because she dies in the beginning. Because everybody's stupid and bad at everything in this. Kate decides this brilliant idea is to get these, there's this thing called Dorothy 5. Get it, guys? Get it? We're trying to make it like the first one. And then they talk about how archaic it is. Yeah, this writing's archaic. By the way, The Midnight Sky also was something that Mark L. Smith did, which I hated. Had no substance to it. Overlord, by the way, did... lot of red flags here for how bad this movie is going to be. But let's just get back to the fact that Kate has her friends, whether she has a boyfriend, she has another guy whose name escapes me. The theater is like half full, so I didn't really bother paying attention to the names. I'm like, whatever. But Eddie, Karen and Shipka's character gets sucked up into the goddamn sky. Oh no! Oh no, not her! Hilariously, they try to do something where they're going to release this compound and, suck up moisture and stop it's like a polyamorous thing. I know that's not what it's called, but just work with me here. They're just going to stop this tornado and find a way to, suck up all the moisture. Like this movie sucked up all the enthusiasm and just shot it up into the sky and said, we're going to replace it with this. The more I think about it, the more I fucking hate this movie because it had potential. You had a chance to make something at least halfway decent. And yeah, turn your brain off, but the problem is this movie doesn't require you to actually have a brain that worked in the first place because there damn sure wasn't a brain with anybody that decided to greenlight this thing. So, opening in a storm, they run into it, they try to release this whole thing, the trailer tips over, and, Anthony Ramos's character tips the thing back up using something that factors into a spot a little bit later on. A spot. I watched too much wrestling. And they get the compound up, but unfortunately then things go tits up and everybody dies except Kate. She's holding on to this thing under the overpass where her boyfriend gets sucked up into the atmosphere. No, not that guy. I've grown attached to whoever the fuck that guy is. And then 5 years later, she's in New York studying weather patterns, far away from Oklahoma, in case you don't know anything about geography. She could have gone to fucking Alaska, and that would have been better. But then, she'd have to live in fucking Alaska. Sorry to anybody who lives in Alaska. I just have heard nothing good except for the 3 cities that, pop up into my head. So, yeah. This movie also had more barrels than a goddamn Donkey Kong game. And actually, we could have put the Donkey Kong rap in this, and it would have been better. There's like one halfway okay remix of Ghost Riders in the Sky, but the soundtrack for the first one far exceeds whatever the fuck this was. So she ends up getting sucked back in by Javi. That sounded so much less dirty in my head. He's got this new company called Stormpar. Also, there's this guy that's funding it that wants to do insurance scams. Storm sweeps through. He offers them a payoff and whatever and does all this stuff, or insurance payments of some variety just to scoop up and play off people's tragedies. Okay. Maybe he doesn't offer them payoff. Maybe he just offers a way to give them insurance, just as a way to grift them. We don't really go too deep into it, but he is really, really rich and covering Stormpar here. And then she agrees to go back for 1 week because she is a Bare Naked Ladies fan. I have to say Daisy Edgar Jones, by the way, does seem delightfully, nice in interviews. And I do actually need to see Where the Crawdads Sing and see what else she's in. I think she has a bright future in Hollywood. I just don't think that this movie was necessarily the blockbuster to do it. But, yes, she naturally has flashbacks and has trauma from dealing with her, the loss of the fact that people got sucked up into the sky. At one point, she ends up getting away from a storm because she has a panic attack. Understandable. Javi probably should have thought about that, even as smart as she is. And, yeah, they end up also, so they can't quite get the stuff with these weird solar panels. 50% discount. Damn it, Rod. But these panel things that are all, they can do a 3D scan of a tornado and we can figure out more shit. What? I don't know what the hell they figure out. They just can scan it with cool Doppler radar shit. And, oh yes, then Tyler Owens, who's played by Glenn Powell, arrives with his group. Sasha Lane's is Lily. I do have to once again put over Sasha Lane. I think she's terrific. Katie O'Brien's Danny, and various others. While Kate is teaming up with Javi's group, it's very, very obvious, by the way, that Javi is kind of split as far as his loyalties. He does like Kate. He feels bad that she lost friends. He lost friends too. But after getting out of the military, discovering this tech that can help analyze tornadoes, he has to find a way to carry on, and he needs to get in bed basically with a really, really shit person. We've all been there, haven't we? Just me? Nevertheless, we do get the, thing, if you feel it, chase it. Should have chased this fucking movie into the goddamn streets. So we just get some storm sequences. We get Tyler racing around in like a big old Dodge truck. There's a British journalist. I believe his name Ben. I believe that's who it was. Some of these characters weren't very distinct, so yeah, he's doing what he's doing. He's trying to cover the story and all that. And then he rides into the storm. Tyler does this thing where he gets these drills and pears down, and they launch fireworks into the tornado. Because why not? Let's just have fun chasing this and just exploding the fireworks in a tornado. And it would be fun if it wasn't so stupid, and not even stupid in a fun way. So, yes, he also has merch. They seemingly have a lot of resources. They're from Arkansas. I'm sorry. And there are good people in Arkansas. I just couldn't help it. So, yes, having the once-in-a-generation tornado deal, and it's coming for their families. Not how weather works, but whatever. And as Kate goes on, obviously a romance blossoms between Daisy Edgar-Jones and Glenn Powell. Let's be honest, looking at those two beautiful people, they would create some beautiful babies. This is not how anatomy works between a man and a woman. Unless it does, and I'm not going to judge. Basically, they're chasing various storms. Sometimes things pair off. We got twins! Twins! That character needed to be slapped. Not the person, just the character. So, yes, Kate is helping Javi's group. Tyler and her do end up having a bond. We get these silly points with them having very, generic dialogue. And then after there's like a storm that rips through this one town, she finds out about the insurance agent doing this scam thing that he's doing, but he's funding this whole project. Javi has this way has to go on with it so he can stay funded. It's like they sort of just mixed a few parts of like the Carrie Ellis group and the the ragtag group, except they just looked at the screen and didn't understand what made it work. But yes, after that storm hits, Glenn Powell finds a dog that we actually don't. The dog's just there. The dog's just around somewhere. Finally, he found the dog. At least he said so. And she basically says to Javi, after taking Javi's truck, basically, to do some more, searching, disaster relief, that kind of stuff. You feel bad for the people that are going through this shit. Nobody should have to go through those disasters at all. But then, oh my God, we get this part where Glenn and Daisy, or Tyler and Kate, are at a rodeo. They're just at a goddamn rodeo, doing all this stuff after she has an argument with Javi's character. They're at a rodeo. He's taking her to a rodeo. He thought she was a New York City girl, but she actually grew up in Oklahoma. Not that the accent dictated it or told her, God, man, Tyler was an idiot here. I don't know why this bothers me so much. Nevertheless, what they end up doing is they're at the rodeo. But then suddenly the storm comes, and oh my God, everybody's getting ripped up in this one couple that was arguing about service, room service, and hotel service. Well, a literal storm is happening outside. Everybody gets to the pool. It's like Adult Swim, all kids out of the pool. They end up they dive into the pool, climb into the pool. The couple that was arguing about the hotel service ends up getting sucked up. Oh no, not those idiots. And then everybody's safe except this one guy that got sucked up into the goddamn sky. A lot of people got sucked up into the sky here. And after that, more cleanup, more stuff going on. She goes back to her ancestral home. It is Oklahoma, after all. And talks to her mom, played by Maura Tierney. And talks about all the stuff going on. Maura, I do want to say, but it does have some funny lines because she recognizes that Tyler's actually a pretty good guy. Tyler, you're going to stay here. Tyler, you're going to stay in the guest room. They're trying to recreate the barbecue food scene, except they didn't work. Was the lady that played Helen Hunt's mother still alive? Because you could have had her here. Aunt May. Aunt May is the character. I don't remember the actress's name. And they could have gotten Helen Hunt back in this if they really wanted to, but if they put it in 3D, her nose would have taken out half the goddamn theater. Mean? Yeah, probably. But let's move on from that. Flashbacks. She shows she, is traumatized by all the stuff going on. Also, there's a science fair project that shows what would happen. Like, hey, all these houses get knocked down, these model houses, but then, there's this tornado gets sucked up, but then we release this powder, this polyamorous thing, and it gets up there and it stops the moisture. Tyler says, hey, let's come up with a way to do this. I can get the tech. Let's talk to Javi about getting the rest of it. Let's all band together. So yeah, the idea is they're going to just get all this compound and all these barrels. Again, more barrels in a Donkey Kong game. And they're just able to get barrels and barrels and barrels of this stuff. Where is it coming from? Whatever, it's fine. It's fine. So they end up trying to take it to this one area where this big old storm hits, and it's at this oil refinery that this happens to pop up on the horizon. How did we not see this, dangerously large oil refinery? Oh, it's there. Maybe it's a nuclear power plant. Simpson, eh? Oh no, the oil plant's down. That means Mid-South Wrestling and World Class Championship Wrestling will suddenly bottom out for business. Only wrestling fans will get that. Everybody else will be confused. So yes, the oil refinery starts to blow up because this tornado's like, oh, I'm coming for everyone you love. In case you can't tell, I didn't really like this movie because it took itself too seriously, but when it tried to have fun, it didn't have that element of fun. Mainly because Mark L. Smith is not a good writer. But that being said, Javi and whoever the fuck else is with him, I don't know the guy's name. I don't care. He was like a bastardized assistant version, or a bastardized version of the assistant to Carrie O's character, but with the evilness of Carrie. Like, no, we need to just go along with this and damn the people. We're not going to do this. Their truck gets tipped over, but then conveniently gets blown back over and they can drive out. So everybody's fine except for the ones getting sucked up into the sky. And then, yeah, Javi's like pissed. He's like, no, I'm not going to do this. We're not going to do this stuff with the storm. He takes off after letting the guy out of the truck. But feigning that he was going to do something about the, the weird solar panel thing. So then he decides to team up with Kate and Tyler. I'm pissed. And there is one funny part a little bit earlier, actually, where Javi's driving, Kate around. And they do this part where instead of a cow, I think I hit a chick. I think I killed some chickens. And then a chicken lands on the goddamn roof. So nevertheless, see, I want to have fun, but movies refuse to let me have fun. So basically, they're giant F5, F10 thing. Brock Lesnar just F5ing people all over the place. Maybe not the best example right now, given the shit that happened with him. It's heading for this town called El Reno. Wherever that is. I don't know much about, Oklahoma, except there's like Tulsa and Oklahoma City. There's also wherever the fuck, Terror Tank Killer was filmed. So they're trying to stop this whole thing. They get so many barrels. There's got to be like 25, maybe 30 barrels on this goddamn tractor trailer. Where did they get this trailer? Never mind, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. They're going to drive and they're going to do that. They're going to put it up there and hopefully stop the goddamn thing because they adjusted the compound. They're doing this. Javi's there to help because suddenly this trolley ends up almost pinning down Glenn Powell's character while all this is going on. And then he has to get the stick out like in the beginning of the movie when he lifted the trailer up and, oh, Hobby is so good. Fuck! They get in the cinema that's playing goddamn Frankenstein. You know, it's like when The Shining, they were chipping away at the goddamn, he was chipping away at the door. And then, gradually the screen was going away because that was creative. None of the shots in this are creative. None of the storms even seem like they're actually happening in this world. But everybody's freaking out. Everybody's getting all torn up. Stuff's, deal's getting torn up. Tyler, Javi, everybody, they're like, holy shit, where is Kate? Oh no, Kate decided to take the truck out. Tyler's truck. She's going to take all those barrels there, and she's going to drive it in. She's like, I'm going to save like I should have saved before. And somehow, by some miracle, even though she drills into the ground, this did not look like drilling. I'm making it worse. Moving on. It keeps drilling, the drills keep going back like this. She's finally able to release the barrels, even though they're stuck for a bit. She does that, and it takes a bit for this giant F5 to suddenly be dissipated. And I guess the people are okay. Sasha Lane's character almost gets drug up into the goddamn night sky, or day sky, or whatever time of day this was. And everybody's fine. Oh, yes, and then we go to where Kate is going to leave. She is going to go home to New York. Why you'd want to live in New York, I have no idea. It's so noisy. But then Javi looks at Tyler and says, why would you let her leave? Go find her. And then he does a comedic thing where he drills into the ground with his truck. Because apparently you're just able to do that. And he goes to get her. And then the PA person at the airport says, there's a storm coming. We may have some delays. Fuck it! This is bad. This is really bad. I don't fucking care how offensive this is. This is bad. And the studio should feel bad. F. Agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rickland. I'll see you soon.